Errors, uncertainties, and mistakes. This is our first example of something called Physics is a Foreign Language that Sounds like English. Errors, uncertainties, and mistakes are all terms that you might use in everyday language, but they have very specific meanings in science. An error is the actual difference between a measured value and the true value. Errors are unavoidable when you take measurements in any experiments that you do, and they can be due to various things. So sources of error can be from the limit of reading of a measuring instrument, for example, the size of the divisions on a ruler. It can also be due to how the reading is taken. So, for example, the angle at which a person views the ruler. And it can also be caused by a calibration of the measuring instrument. So, for example, a measuring tape that's been used a lot and it's been stretched over time, and now the millimetre markings are no longer a millimetre apart. Now, an uncertainty is a way of quantifying or putting a number on how uncertain you are about a measured value that you've come up with. Now, for errors that are equally likely to be within a specific range on either side of your average value, you can write this down reasonably easily, and you might say that an uncertainty on the height of your teacher is 163.3 centimetres, but you are uncertain about that to about half a centimetre. So your uncertainty would be half a centimetre in this case. Measurements will always be uncertain. We can't take perfect measurements. There will always be an uncertainty. Now, a mistake is just a mistake. It's doing something incorrectly, either through neglect or carelessness. So if you add two numbers instead of subtracting them, then that's a mistake. It's not an error. Recording a measured length as 10 centimetres when you were actually using a ruler that had inch units is a mistake. It's not an error. When you discuss experimental results, you should be aiming to only discuss experimental errors and uncertainties, because your mistakes shouldn't be happening. So errors and uncertainties are unavoidable, mistakes are avoidable, and we just need to be mindful of how we use this language when we're talking about experimental procedures.